Hey there Cosmic Warriors, and welcome back to another video. Okay, so in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the new blessings coming in hot as Jupiter enters Aries. Now, in this part 1, we're going to go from Aries through to Virgo, and in part 2 we will go from Libra through to Pisces. So as soon as part 2 is ready, I will link it down below. All right, so I do hope that you find this part to be helpful. Let's do this. Okay, so Jupiter will enter Aries on the 10th of May, the same day that Mercury turns retrograde in Gemini. And on the 28th of July, Jupiter in Aries will retrograde until it moves back into the sign of Pisces on the 28th of October. Therefore, this astrology forecast is from May 10th, okay, the 10th of May 2022, until the 28th of October 2022. All right, so let's get into the signs, which, by the way, watch for your sun, moon, and rising. So Aries, sun, moon, and risings. Jupiter in Aries will transit your first house. So from May 10th, you might experience new blessings when it comes to your identity and your temperament, when it comes to your outlook on life. Maybe you feel lighter, more carefree, maybe you feel more spontaneous, or like you have the world at your fingertips. As if anything you want to achieve is possible. Perhaps you feel uplifted and hopeful about the future, or maybe you see the positives in things more. You see the things that make you great. You have this improving self-image. Then again, it could be that you start reacting to things in a whole different way. You approach situations in a new way. You realize what reactions will get you further and which ones will keep you back. Perhaps new opportunities, they are presented to you. Opportunities associated with leadership or adventure. These opportunities, they expand your direction and your journey. Maybe you make decisions that bring you the most success and fortune. Now, given that Chiron is in Aries during this transit, perhaps insecurities are felt in association with these things. Maybe you battle with self-doubt, or maybe you feel guilty for putting yourself first, or for fighting your corner. Or perhaps fears surrounding the future, they start to creep in, and so you don't assert yourself. Or you fear what will happen if you do assert yourself. Yet, this is an opportunity to heal. By facing these challenges head on, you can learn a lot about your personal strength and courage. Now, Mars will be in Pisces from May 14th until May 24th. So for the first 15 days of this transit, well, maybe you take some time to wait patiently. You seek stillness and you let things grow as they may. And then when Mars enters Aries from May 24th until July 5th, it's go time. You might feel way more energetic given that both Jupiter and Mars will be in your first house together. And with Venus being in Aries from the 2nd of May until May 28th, you might feel bolder, sexier, fiercer, and more passionate. You might feel more desirable and lustful. However, when Jupiter does go retrograde on July 28th until October 28th, well, you might reassess the wisdom that you had gathered from May until the end of July. You might go over the teachings that you learned. Maybe you learn that the person who gets in your way the most is yourself, or that the only person you are competing with is yourself. Or maybe you learn that knowing when to walk away is not only wisdom, but it's also courage. Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Risings. So Jupiter in Aries will transit your 12th house. So from May 10th, you might experience new blessings when it comes to inner peace, relaxation, renewal. Maybe you feel more serene and content from within, or maybe you feel good in knowing that you don't have to engage as much with the world. Maybe you would rather be in solitude more during this transit. Maybe dreaming and visualizing feels exciting and enjoyable. Perhaps you spend more time relaxing and just switching off. And it's these things that leave you feeling hopeful and optimistic on the inside. Perhaps you experience an overwhelming amount of happiness and joy behind the scenes. You feel good in your own company. Then again, it could be that healing feels easier, or perhaps you're willing to take more risks when it comes to healing. You're willing to try new things, or it could be that you are extra creative. You have these daring dreams and fantasies about your direction. Maybe more opportunities are presented to you, like leading retreats, overcoming a challenging addiction, achieving spiritual goals, or escaping independently. Now, given that Chiron is in Aries during this transit, perhaps insecurities are felt in association with these things. Maybe it's difficult to find the strength to move on, or maybe you fear that no one will take you seriously. Or perhaps putting yourself first in situations can feel quite daunting. Yet, this is an opportunity to heal. By facing these challenges head on, you can learn a lot about your inner strength and courage. Now, Mars will be in Pisces from May 14th until May 25th. So for the first 15 days of this transit, maybe you allow things to play out within the groups that you're a part of. Maybe you are closing a few things up there. You don't push on others. And when Mars enters Aries from May 24th until July 5th, you take some time to yourself. You might feel a strong urge to breathe out, given that both Jupiter and Mars will be in your 12th house together. And with Venus being in Aries from May 2nd until May 28th, you might feel more loving and romantic, as if one huge love story is playing out in your mind. However, when Jupiter goes retrograde on July 28th until October 28th, you might reassess the wisdom you have gathered from May until the end of July. You might go over the teachings that you have learned. Maybe you learn that doing things alone can actually be really therapeutic, or that you don't always necessarily have to act on your dreams. Or maybe you learn that everybody feels anger and that you're not alone in yours. Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Risings. So Jupiter in Aries will transit your 11th house. So from May 10th, you might experience new blessings when it comes to your teams and allies, and when it comes to the future. Maybe you feel more hopeful about your direction, about your path, or maybe you want to spend more time with your friends. You feel a stronger urge to do things together, or perhaps it's that you feel a greater desire to connect within different groups. You sort of branch out. You get out there. You start exploring within your community. Perhaps you wish to lead a group where you teach, or where you broadcast your views, your ideas, your opinions. Maybe you feel fortunate within your groups and teams. You feel fortunate to be a member. It could be that you are willing to be more adventurous, or you're feeling bolder. You are willing to take risks and you feel optimistic about doing so. Maybe more opportunities are presented to you, like leading a team, starting a fitness course, socializing with self-starters, or networking with inspirational people. Now, given that Chiron is in Aries during this transit, perhaps insecurities are felt in association with these things. Maybe you fear that people within the group will reject you, or maybe it's challenging to be a leader because you doubt others will follow. Maybe you doubt your own leadership. Yet this is an opportunity to heal. By facing these challenges head on, you can learn a lot about group strength and courage. It's sort of like strength in numbers type of thing. Mars will be in Pisces now from May 14th until May 25th. So for the first 15 days of this transit, maybe you sit quietly as the public make their move, or maybe you trust your intuition when it comes to your profession, when it comes to your public image. And when Mars enters Aries from May 28th until July 5th, you are ready to start networking, mingling, and initiating teamwork. You might gain all these flashes of insight that align with the things that you want in the future, given that both Jupiter and Mars are in your 11th house together. And with Venus being in Aries from May 2nd until May 28th, you might feel more likable and social. There's a desire to get connecting in a new way. However, when Jupiter does go retrograde on July 28th until October 28th, you might reassess the wisdom you have gathered from May until the end of July. You might go over the teachings that you have learned. Maybe you learn that there's strength found in numbers, like I said, or that everybody has their unique voice within any group. Or maybe you learn that being a leader of a group also means getting involved and getting stuck in. Cancer, Sun, Moon, and risings. So Jupiter in Aries will transit your 10th house. So from May 10th, you might experience new blessings when it comes to your accomplishments and your ambitions, and when it comes to your professional life. Maybe you feel quite lucky because you start seeing all these rewards happening within your career. You experience these pinch me moments, or maybe you feel more accomplished because the public is recognizing you. People within the public are recognizing you. Perhaps the public feel encouraged by you, motivated by you, inspired by your journey, by your message, by your story. Perhaps they see you as this highly influential person, and so they are willing to give generously to you. Then again, it could be that you feel greater self-satisfaction due to a long-term accomplishment. Something you have worked on for so long is finally completed and you feel great about it. You feel successful. Maybe more opportunities are presented to you, like being a coach, being your own boss, receiving an award for your hard work, being recognized by your managers, or gaining fortune due to your bravery. Now, given that Chiron is in Aries during this transit, perhaps insecurities are felt in association with these things. Maybe you doubt that others will recognize the hard work you've put in, or maybe you fear that others will think you're selfish for pursuing a certain long-term goal. Maybe you fear judgment or ridicule on the internet. Yet, this is an opportunity to heal. By facing these challenges head on, you can learn a lot about public strength and courage. Mars will be in Pisces from May 14th until May 25th. So for the first 15 days of this transit, maybe you wait patiently as you go over what you've been studying, or maybe you are open to stepping into the unknown, because who knows? You don't try to control the inevitable, let's just say. But then when Mars enters Aries from May 24th until July 5th, you feel pumped up. You are live. You face the world head on. You might feel extra bold and spunky and confident given that both Jupiter and Mars are in the 10th house together. And with Venus being in Aries from May 2nd until May 28th, you might feel a greater sense of self-respect and integrity. You stick to your guns and you believe in your capabilities. However, when Jupiter goes retrograde on July 28th until October 28th, you might reassess the wisdom you have gathered from May until the end of July. You might go over the teachings you have learned. Maybe you learn that sometimes you must fall down before you reach the top, or that your professional journey is your own. Or maybe you learn that being a boss requires patience. Leo, Sun, Moon, and Risings. So Jupiter in Aries will transit your 9th house. So from May 10th, you might experience new blessings when it comes to your higher education, when it comes to your broader perspectives, when it comes to long distance travel, and when it comes to any legal proceedings that you may be going through right now. Maybe you experience a big win. You gain something pretty big. You might feel quite lucky and blessed in this respect, or perhaps an opportunity arises when it comes to educating yourself further. It could be that you are funded for a program, or maybe a legal situation turns out in your favor, or things just start moving again and fast. Then again, perhaps you take a trip to somewhere you've never been before, and you feel blessed. You feel lucky to be enjoying such an eye-opening experience, and this experience shows you what you're capable of. Then again, it could be that you travel pretty far away to somewhere that you have been before, but again, you feel blessed. Then again, it could be that you feel hopeful and optimistic about your future aspirations. Maybe things come to fruition, or you can see the bigger picture with more passion and courage. Maybe more opportunities, they are presented to you, like publishing your own course, publishing your own novel, taking a trip solo, or maybe you lead an educational trip, or you further your understanding of fitness. Now, given that Chiron is in Aries during this transit, perhaps insecurities are felt in association with these things. Maybe you question your quest due to feelings of unworthiness, due to beliefs that you are unworthy, or maybe you feel frustrated by mentors who are unreliable. Yet, this is an opportunity to heal. By facing these challenges head on, you can learn a lot about knowledge, strength, and courage. Now, Mars will be in Pisces from May 14th until May 25th. So for the first 15 days of this transit, maybe you go inward, okay? You address the things that are holding you back subconsciously. Maybe you work through some trauma and you don't judge what comes up. And when Mars does enter Aries from May 24th until July 5th, you want to jump forward. You rise, you seek to explore, and you keep in mind your philosophical views in association with your individual path. Perhaps you feel more uplifted, given that both Jupiter and Mars will be in your 9th house together. And with Venus being in Aries from May 2nd until May 28th, you can see the value in having a positive outlook on life. You appreciate the things that make up your individual perspective. However, when Jupiter goes retrograde on July 28th until October 28th, you might reassess the wisdom you have gathered from May until the end of July. You might go over the teachings you have learned. Maybe you learn that sharing your personal experiences can be powerful, or that believing in miracles can lead to more opportunities. Or maybe you learn that the bigger picture goes beyond what you know individually. And lastly, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Risings. So Jupiter in Aries will transit your 8th house. So from May 10th you might experience new blessings when it comes to joint accounts and shared resources, or when it comes to your sexuality, when it comes to conception, or when it comes to vulnerability or trauma. Maybe you start feeling more hopeful and positive after experiencing so much pain, after doing a lot of heavy inner work. Or maybe you fall pregnant during this time. Or perhaps you feel more daring and bolder within the bedroom. There is more fire and heat and passion. Or it could be that you feel sexier. You get in touch with your sexuality in a way that feels motivating and pioneering, in a way that is personal to you. Or perhaps you take the lead. Then again, it could be that you take charge when it comes to shared resources. So for example, maybe you join the gym, or you set a new goal in place with your significant other, or maybe you take a risk when it comes to joint financial planning with your partner. Maybe you pay off a loan, or your credit score improves, it goes up, or maybe you receive an inheritance. These things, they contribute to you achieving your goals. Then again, it could be that vulnerabilities are rewarded. Being vulnerable results in greater intimacy. Maybe more opportunities, they are presented to you, like exploring hot desires, or discovering a hidden truth that you subconsciously pushed to the back of your mind. Or maybe you share how you feel on the inside, and perhaps by doing so, you further your commitment to someone, or it creates more intimacy and trust within your relationships. Now, given that Chiron is in Aries during this transit, perhaps insecurities are felt in association with these things. Maybe you fear that you'll be rejected or betrayed or let down, or maybe you find it hard to speak up because you don't want to be abandoned due to sharing your true feelings. Yet, this is an opportunity to heal. By facing these challenges head on, you can learn a lot about vulnerability, strength, and courage. Now, Mars will be in Pisces from May 14th until May 25th. So for the first 15 days of this transit, maybe you reflect upon your relationships heavily. Maybe you go over the things you want from within your relationships. You pay attention to what comes up, okay? And this is an internal thing. You trust what your inner self is communicating. And when Mars enters Aries from May 24th until July 5th, you have a greater sense of direction. You are more aware of the transformations that you want to go through, or that you will go through whether you want to or not. What things need to die, so to speak, so that other things can be reborn. You might even feel extra vulnerable given that both Jupiter and Mars are in your 8th house together. And with Venus being in Aries from May 2nd until May 28th, you might look beyond the superficial when it comes to closeness, love, and materials. You are seeking something deeper, something more meaningful. However, when Jupiter goes retrograde on July 28th until October 28th, you might reassess the wisdom you have gathered from May until the end of July. You might go over the teachings you have learned. Maybe you learn that you can't control how others are going to react to your honesty and openness, or that true freedom is found from within. Or maybe you learn that sometimes you project your selfishness onto others just as they project their selfishness onto you. Okay then, Cosmic Warriors, so that concludes part 1 of the new blessings coming in hot as Jupiter enters Aries this coming May. We went from signs Aries through till Virgo, and if I did not touch on your sign today, then stay tuned for part 2. I will be going from Libra through to Pisces, and if it's already up, I will make sure to link it down below. Though on that note, I do hope that you find this video to be useful and helpful. Let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you have not yet subscribed, then make sure that you click that subscribe button and also give this video a like if you did like it. And I will be back with another video very, very soon. Bye!